Okay, so here we are, week 3. And for this class, we're almost done. A lot of work, right? Covered a lot of material so far. And I just want to say, I'm really happy with most of the work. Um, I was mentioning this to my other class, and I'm aware that a few of you are actually taking my class at the same time, which means you're getting some of the subject matter I'm covering in this class, we are also covering in the other one. I'm aware of that. Well, now you're going to be experts, right? Um, and uh, um, Yet this one is a much more of a cramming course than my other class. Uh, Needless to say, usually people drop my class, and then the ones that stay get it and do well, and that's where you guys are at. So I'm reminding you that I don't leave a lot of comments at this point, but I'm reading them. Okay, I'm reading your papers, and I'm happy with what I see. You guys are addressing mainly what I want, so that's good. A few things that I mentioned in the from the other class is we also did a reading of Mary Wollstonecraft, and I just thought a little fun fact to throw your way. Mary Wollstonecraft, her daughter was Mary Shelley, the woman who wrote Frankenstein, and Mary Shelley was married to a poet, an infamous, a radical poet from the Romantic era named Percy Shelley. I actually like his poetry quite a bit. But he was a sexually scandalous person, like all kind of rock star status people, right? And apparently, they consummated their love. He was married to somebody else who was pregnant, I believe, at the time, and he had sex with Mary, the daughter of Mary Wollstonecraft's daughter, on her gravestone. In other words, Mary Wollstonecraft, she died, had a gravestone, and then her daughter, who wrote Frankenstein, hooked up with the poet Percy Shelley on site right there on the stone, according to this documentary I saw on the BBC. Oh, those famous people in the entertainment industry, huh? Anyhow, just thought I would share that with you. Okay, we're gonna be also in this. You'll notice this week that the homework arrangement is a little bit different. So just take a careful look. I think you'll be happy with it overall. The exam uses the My History Lab, okay? And the My History Lab, I will post some instructions on how to get into the exam on the My History Lab underneath this video. It's multiple choice, and you can use any of the chapters we've covered up to this point. You can take it as many times as My History Lab lets you. You're going to get the highest, whatever your score is. As I mentioned in the instructions, you're going to go to the link on exam 1. You're going to write for me chapter, whatever, how many points you got, and the percentage that it gave you. I'm going to double check that in My History Lab, and then I'm going to come back into this part. I'm going to put your grade in accordingly, let's say 25 points, and then it will go directly into Blackboard. Just keep in mind that I only have this one exam and then the final, and they're 25 points each. You can survive not doing well on this exam if you've been keeping up with the work. And if you haven't been keeping up with the work and you do well on this exam, it's not necessarily going to help you a whole lot. So I want to encourage you to do well on the exam, but I also just want to remind you that the key to success in my class is, again, keeping up with this intense weekly routine that's almost done. Okay? Now, I'm having you look into things like the Communist Manifesto. I think you'll find that enriching to get a little bit more aware of a text that's influenced the world so much and still has a major influence. And it's written also, Karl Marx and Engels, are people that you should know about if you're going to claim you studied Western civilization. And I just want to say this. A lot of people who focus on American history, what we call Americanists, that don't study European history sometimes miss out on really conceptualizing or grasping the extreme influence of Karl Marx on Western civilization. And so I'm not necessarily promoting Karl Marx or communism. I just want to point out how important it is to understand it. Okay, you can think it's the worst thing or the best thing, but you need to understand what it is. And so this will be good for you. And you'll notice on my assignment for this week, when I've given this in the past, so many students are so appreciative of this assignment, even though it's a little bit of a task, is to define all of these things like socialism, communism, anarchism, Zionism, capitalism, all these terms that I have, and to do it in the way that I'm asking you to do, which is not just a textbook definition, but to incorporate, like, explain them within the context of what you're learning in the textbook. That may be a little bit more of a challenge for you than even maybe the exam, but I promise you, as I state in the, in my instructions, your consciousness of political events and things being discussed will be so much more advanced than so many other people. The amount of time you put into understanding these terms that I'm giving you for Sunday, I cannot stress enough how much more abilities you will have to grasp political discussions, and you will see how much those terms are misused. I mean, so for example, when Obama is called a socialist, that's only sort of right. Maybe it's a very small s. Okay, Obamacare is not socialist. Why is it not socialist? Well, I want you to think about that when you look it up. So when people call Obamacare socialist, I flatly reject that a statement as a false statement. Now, again, I'm not saying that I like Obamacare. I'm not saying I'm not promoting one idea or the other. I'm merely saying that that's not socialism. When he gets called a communist, that's also a definite not true statement. Bernie Sanders, by his enemies, has been called a communist. Not true. Is he a socialist? Yes. Bernie Sanders is definitely a socialist. And so it goes on and on. What I do want to clarify is there's a term Zionism that I have. You should know about that. It's tied into the Israel-Palestine conflict. What you should know is that sometimes white supremacists or anti-Semitic people claim that Zionism is a kind of idea of a global Jewish conspiracy, okay, to take over the world. And there was a book called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. That is not, though. That's a conspiracy theory, okay? Zionism is a real political ideology. There are thousands, perhaps even millions of Jews who claim that they are Zionists. And there are many Jews who claim to be anti-Zionist and claim that Zionism is a terrible ideology, that they don't want to be associated with Jews. Why would that be? What's that mean? Again, I want you to research that, and you'll see why. And in other words, it's a political ideology. Okay, it's not a religion. Okay, Zionism. I think that's all I want to say on that. Feel free to give me a call or ask any questions about anything else to elaborate. I got a little bit behind in the grading. I'm not too far behind. I have a few more things to grade, and then we'll keep going. So I hope that you're still learning a lot. It seems like a lot of you enjoyed the terrible scenario of the French Revolution, and hopefully you'll keep enjoying all the things that you're learning now. So, yep, and we will just move forward. Okay.